Hello, welcome. I decided today I got in a little bit of enthusiasm to do a video. The more I've thought about the last Superman movie that came out by James Gunn, there was a specific story that Lex Luthor in it I felt was resonating, and that was Lex Luthor Man of Steel. I want to say it came out in like 2005-ish. And it has an artist I really like on the book. It was 5 issues. Lee Bermejo was the artist. It was written by Brian Azzarello, which I know already you're like, oh, that guy wrote that shitty version of The Killing Joke. Had Batman and Barbara Gordon banging. Yeah, that guy. Very hit and miss. There was something about this story, though, with the way they portrayed Luthor, which I thought the movie did a great job in, where this is a guy who his petty jealousy and hubris are stopping him from doing great things. And an interesting thing about this book is Superman doesn't talk to the last 3-4 pages in it. And it's just, he's like this menacing figure with glowing eyes they keep showing. And his just existence pisses off Luthor. And it's weird because they try to show this light side of Luthor in the beginning where he's smiling and his janitor's there, and this janitor's son is into science, but he's been skipping class. So Luthor's like, I'll tell you what, if he gets straight A's, you can send him, this is a pass to the Science Emporium thing we're doing, just buddy. And then right as soon as that guy leaves, Luthor becomes Luthor. And this Luthor is very shystery. He's showing you a smile, but he's plotting your death at the same time. And I honestly thought that Nicholas Hoult did a great job in the movie as this. And he's watching TV in this, and as he's watching, they're showing Superman lifting a car, and Luthor's like, not a man, not even close. Yet most accept him like a member of the family, grown-up little girls and boys, certain that the uncertain will bully them and comfort in their big brother from another planet. He's made himself appear so much like us, he has almost everyone forgetting he's not one of us, almost. But there's me. I know he's not one of us. And they have this character, Orr, which he was very present during the Greg Rucka runs, which, if you've not read the Greg Rucka runs of Superman, they were very good. But every picture, it's just Superman very imposing, glowing eyes, always in this action pose, which Lee Bermejo does a fantastic job. And I think for this book, his gritty art style and almost like mechanical drawing and everything is just dark, grimy, and shaded. And is like, all men are created equal. All men are created equal. All men. You're not a man. And he's just going on about how, they've made you their hero and they worship you. So tell me, what redemption do you offer me? And they're showing Superman at his window. So Lex in this decides that he's going to create his own hero, which he calls Hope, which is a female superpowered synthezoid. Think the Vision and the Human Torch from Marvel, maybe Red Tornado. She is very 90s in her style of dress and everything, the haircut. And he's basically propping her up to, be his hero. Something he created, which of course will have to be more superior than this alien, this motherfucking alien coming in here. And in a certain part of this, he goes to Gotham and he meets up with Bruce Wayne. And this is all before Batman and Superman are buddies. So they don't necessarily put a time on when this is happening, but clearly they haven't had many encounters with each other. And Superman roughs up Batman a little bit. And they have some encounters. Bruce Wayne is actually used more than Batman in this, where he's meeting up with Lex, and he shows up to dinner with a black eye, and Bruce is just talking about it. He's like, well, you're in my city, let me order for you, and he's just being pompous, and him and Lex are kind of like out assholing each other, and it's kind of interesting to see this version of Bruce Wayne in it. I absolutely love this art in here, and by the end of it, he gets roughed up by Superman. He agrees to give Lex what he wants, which it's a little bit of kryptonite he's carrying. And in this next one, Hope is introduced as his hero, and he's basically setting her up to have a showdown with Superman. And Lex, he's like, you're not a woman, you're something more, I love you, and starts making out with her. And it starts the next issue, the final issue, with Hope post-coital with Lex, and she's like, oh, I love you too. And now we know they do call him Lex Luthor. Lex likes to fuck robots. She gets into a scrum with Superman. Superman basically ends her. I don't want to spoil too much. But it all leads up to this final discussion between and it's like through a window of Superman and Lex. And Lex is just laying into, he's like, I see your eyes, I know of all your remarkable visions, but let me tell you what you can't see, my soul. And there's not a soul in Metropolis who watched Hope drop the monster and give the same, and who watched Hope drop the monster and given the same opportunity wouldn't have done it themselves. Not a soul. How does that make you feel, you arrogant alien bastard? Your silence speaks volumes. You understand my words, but you refuse to believe what they mean. Is that because you see something in humanity that in truth isn't there, or that you're blind to what truly is? Say something, goddammit, you're wrong. Finally, Superman talks, and this is the only time he talks in the book. He's like, oh, I can see your soul. And Lex just starts punching the windows. And he's like, you can't, because if you could, you would see a man who willingly denied himself happiness, who chose to give up hope for the world, a world without Superman. I know I can't beat you alone, but then I'm not alone. There's 6.5 billion of me, and only one of you, and we can drive you back out to the blackness from which you came. What the world watched you do tonight, if it only changes one mind about what you are, please, just fly away. What gives measure to a man's choices is what he has to give up to make them. I am a man, I hope. There's something about this Lex that I took to, and again, you might hate Brian Azzarello. Brian Azzarello is a very complicated person, and his Wonder Woman run on New 52 was somewhere between bull and shit. It was not good, and I might have hated that more than I hated Tom King's Batman, and I've got hours on that in my old videos. If you feel like going back and watching that, more power to you. I'm not going to revisit those at this time, but definitely worth picking up. I believe it's been reprinted on Black Label now. There is another book called Luthor by Azzarello and Lee Bermejo that came out in, I believe, 2015. Different books. I feel like Luthor's a little bit more toned down with the xenophobic shit than this one is. But you can definitely see where in this book they crib some of Lex Luthor and how he was. And Lee Bermejo kind of called it out on his Instagram. But I just want to talk about this book. If you haven't read it, it's worth checking out, especially if you have the DC Unlimited app. It's worth checking out. It's only 5 issues, so it's a pretty small trade. But I have not revisited this book in about, I'd say, 10 years. And for that movie to make me think about it was kind of weird that I was like, oh man, this scene reminds me of Lex Luthor, Man of Steel. So anyway, I just had the urge to make a video and talk about this book. And if you read it, let me know what you think. I'm curious because maybe I'm the crazy one. I dug it. It might not be for everyone because, you know, some people just don't dig Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor is what he is. He's arrogant, hubris-ridden, and, I mean, at his core, he's a xenophobe. He can't stand this alien that's taking his job of being the most important person in the world. And that's basically what it comes down to. He can't stand that he is not the peak of humanity and feels that he should be. And I feel like what Joshua Williamson was doing in his story with Lex becoming good was an interesting thing for me. That, you know, he still, even trying to be good, couldn't match the might of Superman. But that's all for me. Take care, and we'll be back on Wednesday night doing Superman for All Seasons for Ink Panels Graphic Novel Book Club, and probably look for a Fantastic Four review this week. Anyway, take care, good night, and I'll see you around. Bye.